Hi everybody, this is Gayle and welcome to my channel tonight. I hope you all are ready for some trivia here about Alaska. So let me see, I think we've got some folks already in the house, and that would be Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man the hero, and Busy Lady. So hello to you both. Yep, you're right, Peter, it is. We're getting closer to that big mark. And Busy Lady, thank you for hanging out. Good to see both you all. Well, I've got some questions lined up about Alaska. So we're going to hop into these in just a few minutes. I'm going to let some folks have a few minutes to come on in and join us. But in the meantime, I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope everything is going well for both of you all. I know Busy Lady is always busy, so glad to have you here. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to post a reminder in the group. Just make sure that everybody knows. And let's see. I'm using my laptop today instead of my desktop. We had to send the desktop in for some repair work and just got it back. So we haven't had time to hook it all up together again. So it's running just a little slow on getting that reminder up in the group. But in the meantime, it's going. It's just going slowly. So I need to get the URL if I'm going to post the reminder, huh? Oh, I froze. Oh, 7 months. I looked at that wrong. I thought for a second that you said 7 months to Texas. So sorry if I froze. Don't know why. But I'm back. So it may just be, I don't know. I'm not even going to guess. I started saying it may just be YouTube, but so many variables. But anyhow, let's see. There we go. I got that posting. At least I do. Okay. Well, that's the reminder in the group. Just posted again. Let's see. We've got Johnny Vlogger UK. How are you? It's good to see you. Yeah. I popped in on his live stream one night on Instagram. Putting together a tower bookshelf. Oh, I'm glad you're getting that. So, and hello. I don't know. I think I had a hard drive issue. I had a 5 terabyte hard drive, and apparently once your hard drive gets so much data on it and it gets close to full, apparently it just freaks out. So what can I say? Anyway, it's back. We just have to get the new hard drive installed and get it up, because I bumped it up. We're at a 10 terabyte now, so that ought to fix my storage problem, at least for a while, right? So yeah, we're pretty good in the U.S. right now. The governor of Tennessee has, I think, lifted every mandate that there is. So some controversy there, but otherwise we're doing good. So I hope things are good. Whoops. I hope things are good for you guys over in the UK. Lots of stuff. And I'm really hoping that one of the things that happens soon as some of the restrictions ease is that people will get back into tourism, because over 65% of the jobs here in the U.S. have been lost to COVID. 65% of those have been in the travel industry. So it's a little rough there. So hopefully it'll all straighten out and we'll get back to normal soon. You know, if everybody will go out and get vaccinated, you know, we can maybe develop some herd immunity, and that's really going to be helpful. So, but yeah, but I got my vaccine. So, oh, good. We got an update on the Derby. Yay. And hi, Stellar Piper. How are you? Right? It's terrible. So I hear you. Well, I hope you get to visit the USA. I'm kind of partial to it. Although I keep saying hopefully one day I'll get to the UK. Because that would be awesome. So, because one of the neat things about traveling is you get exposed to so many different things, different cultures, different foods, just different. And I remember going in Canada and just being shocked at the difference, the wide variety of things that were available in Canada that aren't available here, like all kinds of like Oriental sauces and things like that we just don't have available here. You know, I teased somebody the other day. I'm like, you know, when they open the border, maybe one of the first things I want to do is go stock up on teriyaki sauce, just because, you know, because but the crazy things we think about, right? All righty. If you do get to the U.S., I hope you have a magnificent time. So, okay, let's see. Yeah, I do. And let's see, Patricia's in. Hi, Patricia. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Stellar Piper saying, Johnny, you should, and I agree. Oops. So welcome, Patricia. And yes, I do, Johnny. We can talk about that. No, actually, I'm in Virginia. So if you visit every quadrant, every section of the U.S. has its own kind of vibe and flavor. So the Southeast, which is where I am, has a completely different flavor, customs. The food is a little different, and some of our sayings are a little different than what you find like in the Northeast or the Southwest. Very, very different from like the Midwest and the Pacific Northwest, which would be like Washington State. So how long would you like to try to stay in the U.S. if you get to come? And of course, we have Florida, which is where Walt Disney World is, and that's even more different. So, but, you know, I guess every country has its own differences. It's just really neat. And of course, you know, we're talking about Alaska tonight, and that is nothing like any other state in the U.S. And it's amazing. People there are totally different too. They will be really, really nice to you, but they don't hesitate to put you in your place if need be. And I like that. You know, very outspoken, and you know exactly where you stand. It's kind of cool. Patricia has just put herself up for adoption. She says she wants to travel. Well, come on. Okay, she's been from Maine to Florida. Lots of stories about the different personalities of the people I've met. Yeah. I've been to Orlando and New York City. Two very different places. I love New York City, but then again, I love Orlando. So, I don't know about that. Oh, Tanya, hi. Okay, well, thank you for stopping in, Peter. Thank you for stopping in. Well, you should put that on your list. Road trip, yep. I think we're all always up for a road trip. We just got to figure out how to make all this happen. Although I will say the best road trips I've ever been on are driving up to Alaska. Partially because it freaks people out. I'll never forget the first time we were planning a mission trip back in 2009. We were talking about me driving to Alaska. And Stellar Piper went with me, and she survived. But one of the ladies, when we were doing the presentation to the church, and we were talking about how, we weren't going to ship our supplies up, that I was just going to drive them and whatnot, she leaned over to me. And now I guess we were talking before the presentation, actually, now that I think about it. But she leaned over to me and she looks up and down the table and she's like, "You're driving to Alaska?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then she looks around and she says, "Does your husband know?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure my husband knows." So I don't know what she thought, if I was just going to go off and leave everybody behind and not tell them, or what was up. But that sticks with me as one of the most unique comments that has ever been made about my traveling. The other one that was funny was when I was in the van, and I was in Kentucky, and I come out of the hotel and I go to get in the van, and this guy says, "Hey, are you one of those van people?" And I'm like, "What?" He said, "What do they call those people? The van life, I guess." And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, then he told me that like his grandson was wanting to do it, and he and his wife were a little dubious. And so I explained the van to him, and that we would do it for mission trips and stuff. But they were all surprised. But anyway. So Patricia says, "So you mean like when I was in North Carolina at karaoke and the DJ announced that I was a Yankee, a guy tried to poke me with his pool stick." Hate that. Oh, I missed what she said. I'll have to go back and scroll up in a second. I wish I could get a bigger van to put us all in. That would be great. I would have to have basically 2 buses. Well, now I will say, okay, I got myself in trouble here. Let me clarify this. Next to meeting Candy, the wee service dog, and her mama Laurel, the next best adventures. Okay. Is that a blue screen? I downloaded one and it looked all wild. Yep, it's a green screen. So similar. You can use either a bright blue or green. How did I get the picture behind me? The picture behind me is Ted Stevens International Airport. They have this guy, big display, kind of like some museum stuff there. And so he is the very, very, very large display in the middle of the airport. So that's how I got that. And so since I'm using StreamYard, it has the green screen feature, which you just put up a green screen behind you. And let me get into this and I'll show you. I'll take it down. So literally, you put a literal green screen right behind you. And then if you're using StreamYard, all you have to do is take your picture, whatever you picture you want, and insert it into a section here on the screen and upload whatever picture you want, like I said, and then it just goes ahead and adds it. And there's nothing else that you have to do, which I love StreamYard. I will say that because it makes life so much easier. So very much easier. So let me see about getting another background up. Here, just a second. Oh, I might change backgrounds while we're talking about it. But yeah, I think I did a video actually on my other channel about how to use StreamYard. But it's super, super, super simple. So, which is wonderful for me because I need idiot proof, and this just about is there. So, let's see. Yeah, we do have lots of moderators. And let's see, Patricia's saying, oh, I'll never forget the stories you wrote about your your trip to Alaska on Yahoo. Every day I wish my computer to read the next new one. Yeah, I actually, that was back in 2009. And so what I did there was I was actually able, thanks to Yahoo and associated content at the time, I was actually able to pay for my gas on the trip by writing those. So I was grateful to have that opportunity. But since then, I've done 3 more trips to Alaska. So, yeah. So anyhow, enough of this green screen. Let me see if I can get something back up here for a background. Okay. And on that, just to kind of play around a little bit, you can use any kind, like you can create a graphic, which is what I just showed a minute ago there for the screen. So, and I'll be getting another one up in just a second. And Candy says, glad you corrected that, Gayle. Otherwise, Stellar was going to have to give you a hard time about it. Oh, hey, Fairy Anna. Okay, she says her sound is off, but she wanted to say hi to everyone. She's at her sister's house for her birthday. So hi to your sister and happy birthday. I know you can't hear this, but happy, happy birthday. Oh, Patricia's saying it's too much tech. No, it's not. This makes it super easy. Okay, and Tanya says, I know this is off topic, but I got an offer to meet with someone about the Learning Center I want to open next week. So we're going to meet. I'm so nervous. That is awesome. I am so glad for you. You can't get better news than that, hardly. So I'm really, really glad. Let's see, what else has been going on? But yeah, don't worry about it being too much tech. And Tanya says, YouTube is acting funny because I was trying to give the link to Gayle's other channel, Overcoming the Obstacles, this last week to a friend, and it kept jumping me to this one. Okay. And Busy says, does anyone else see my comment about not knowing how to get up from my ball on Gayle's screen? No. How to get up from your ball. Okay. I wish I could. What's the weather like in Virginia? Well, today it was really pretty, sunny, not too cold. So it's been really, really nice. How about with you? Okay. Okay. I just want to toss out this background that you see behind me now. This is not too far from, well, it was when I came into Alaska, and it's not too far from the very north, not very north, but the main entry point on the Alaska Highway is what this is. And this orange, I was there in the summer, so they don't have sunsets. And the reason that this is so orange behind me is because of forest fires. So it gets a little crazy with that in Alaska. Sometimes you do have to watch that. So if anybody ever hears this and you drive, just be prepared. Because this last time I actually drove through a part, and some of you may already know this. When I drove through, there was fire on both sides of the road. So it made it kind of interesting. Not a very big stretch by any means. I mean, we're talking about, maybe 50 yards, but enough to get your pulse rate up. She says, what in the world is going on? Is a scrolling banner easy? Yes. Tanya says it's like an avalanche of some good, some bad, and then all of a sudden, be good in the laptop. She likes the one with the trees in the sky. Good. I'll be popping that up again in just a minute. I was having some of the background pictures that I was trying to upload a few minutes ago, apparently uploaded one after the other. And so, sorry about that. And Tanya said, okay, go back. Yeah. I like the one with the trees. Got it. Celsius, oh Lord, she says. She'll send me a screenshot. Okay, please do. She thought Celsius, what's that? Okay, cloudy, sunny, 12 degrees Celsius. I'm going to pull that up. Stellar says, busy, you went on a hike and are sitting on a ball now. Yeah, good luck with getting up. And 53.6 degrees. Okay, we were in like the upper 60s today, I think. It may have been lower 70s. It's literally, I think she's talking about one of those giant exercise balls that you sit on, and it's supposed to help your posture. A performance ball, yeah. We could definitely talk about that, Tanya. I've got a bunch of them I'm willing to send your way. So, yeah. And then this one behind me is when, this one behind me is when I went to the Gulf of Alaska in February last year. And those are little ice floes in the water on the frozen coast. So, yeah. And so, Johnny, you'd asked about the scrolling banner. So I've got that. It really just goes across. So always hashtag be bodacious. Don't let life get in the way of living is kind of our thing. And so that's really just the ticker. So those are pretty easy. You can preset some, and then they'll scroll across the bottom of the screen. And they've got like different branding options and themes and stuff like that. And if you have a guest on, there's actually a private chat which you can do behind the scenes. Okay, wait a minute. She got it for computer chair and to do little workouts on. That makes sense. Gayle is reminding me of the weather lady on the news. Aw, come on. Hopefully you have a nicer weather lady. Hey, Mel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Yeah. So, okay, you all, I've had some quirky things going on with my channel lately. So please share this as you can with friends, because sometimes the notifications aren't going out, but which is like one problem out of a gazillion, but I'm working on those. Oh, Seller says her jokes are the gift. All right. So are we ready to do some trivia? Are we ready, ready? I have 10 trivia questions. And today's prize is bragging rights. Yes, you get to brag to your friends if you win. Let's see. Johnny said, I was doing a fundraiser and couldn't get the donation on this link on the screen or the total raised. Ooh, that would be a problem. I hope you were able to find a workaround. Keep them coming. Okay. And she says, BRB cocktail. Okay. Just make sure you share. And Tanya says, yay, my friends and I thank you and Stellar very much. Oh, thank you. I will brag to my friends even if I don't win. See, there you go. That's what it's all about. So, yeah, thank you. Because I've been suspecting it for a few weeks, and I've been beating my head against the wall. And then the other day, I was doing some searching, and the hashtag Bodacious was not showing up, and it's on most all of my videos, and it was showing up nowhere on YouTube. My name was not showing up on YouTube. I wasn't getting the channel up with that at all. And so, yeah, that points to some things that YouTube says they don't do. So I posted all about that in the Facebook group. So, yeah, and if you're, Johnny, I don't know, you're not in our Facebook group, but, oh, it just works out that way. It does stop trolls. I think when people come in and they see they're outnumbered, it stops trolls. But these folks have been with me for like literally years. And so, yeah, that's how we have them. So the way I do it is if I have like a verified person on that I know, then, you know, I'll pop them in as the moderator. So we can talk about it, Johnny. We can talk about it. I actually, fortunately, have not had too much trouble in the group. In fact, it kind of makes Stellar and Busy Lady, sometimes they have this competition to see if I get a troll, who was going to kick them out. So that was going to, that happened, but gosh, maybe one night, 2 nights, something like that. It's been a while because we usually do pretty good and don't have trolls. Whoops, let me type this in again. There we go. That's the link. So I say, Johnny, I don't think you're in the Facebook group. Everybody else here might be, but come on over and join us if you want to. Yeah, Busy Lady says she likes to boot them. Yeah. But we're really fortunate that we don't get too many. So, yeah. Share a Gayle to Facebook. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, got some, I'm like buying some advertising and going back through the videos to double check things. And so So, not what you want to have happen. But anyhow, 10 facts about Alaska, 10 trivia questions, rather, all about Alaska. So, does anybody want to keep score, or do we just want to go with it? Because I will forget to write it down. So if I have a volunteer scorekeeper, that would be great. If not, that's okay too. And let's see, Tanya is saying, okay, she got 2 statues to paint. Oh, I'm sorry that she passed away. Well, that was nice that they gave them to you. 28 and then 80-pound Mother Mary, and the other one's at 60. Wow, you did great. Mel doesn't know anything about Alaska. Well, you're fixing to get an education. And Candy says, we usually double team trolls. I like to compete with Busy Lady and Stellar on kicking them out. Yeah, but that is one thing that our channel is very fortunate on when it comes to trolls is, number one, we don't have many of them. And number two, I've got tons of great people here to help mod. So, yeah. So, all right. Quick question. These are not too complicated. Well, Mel, you may have some trouble, but my speech-to-text software is being difficult. Okay. We'll let you slide. If it doesn't spell something right, we'll guess. So, I'm off to bed now. It's 34 a.m. Bye, chat. Bye, Johnny. Thank you for coming in. I hope that you have a good, restful night's sleep. And thanks for coming. Yeah, Candy, we haven't had one in ages. We'll keep it that way. All right, trivia question number 1. What is, and I'll give you some hints, okay? So we'll have hints. So trivia question number 1. What is the capital of Alaska? Okay. What's the capital? So 3 choices here, and you don't have to write the letter down. You don't have to keep up with that, but 3 choices, A, Anchorage, B, Juneau, or C, Fairbanks. So that's the question. Really, Tanya, that is. Johnny, thank you again for coming in. I hope you have a great night's sleep. Thank you so much. And Stellar says Juneau, and she would be correct, wouldn't you know? Candy says Juneau. She's right, too. Okay. So good for you all on that. Stellar and Candy, both of y'all. Okay. Number 2. What country did the U.S. purchase land from to buy Alaska? Was it A, Greenland, B, Canada, or C, Russia? So Greenland, Canada, or Russia? Trying to kind of narrow it down a little bit. What might it be? Okay, Tanya, thanks. Gotta go. It was nice. Thank you, too, for coming in. Hey. I cheat. No, Laurel, you're not supposed to do that. Stellar, you are wrong. Tanya has Siri. Okay. Tanya has Siri. Okay. Stellar, you are wrong. Let me give you a hint. Okay. You cannot see this country from Alaska. There was a big thing about that a few years ago when a woman said that she could see this particular country from her home in Alaska. and you cannot. So what might it be? What might it be? Candy says Russia, and she would be right. And it was purchased in 1867, so that was just right after the Civil War. And so they were able to make the purchase, and they wound up purchasing it like for 2 cents an acre or something crazy. Don't quote me on that one, but you can quote me on the 1800 one. So yeah, not long after the Civil War, just like a couple of years. So yeah, it's crazy stuff. I'm gonna see if I have a picture too. Those of you who are interested in religious stuff might find this interesting if I can find it. And that is the Russian Orthodox Church was the main type of church in Alaska for a number of years. And whenever I'm there now, I like to stop by the Russian Orthodox Church that they have set up right outside of Anchorage. And it's only a few minutes for the stop. I'm going to see if I can show it to you because it's just, to me, it's a really cool place. So give me just a second to upload this. Hopefully this is it. Yeah. Now I can't get all the church in the photo, okay, because the way it reformats it, but it'll give you an idea here. So actually, let me move this way. So this right here behind me is the Russian Orthodox Church. I might be able to let me do a screen share. I think that would work out better. Let me just change this background here right quick. And I'll just do a screen share on this because for me, it's just one of those really cool things. Da, da, da. Chrome tab. Photo. Google Photos. Share. But so yeah, they bought the country from Russia, and so there was a strong Russian influence, and that influence, there's still evidence of that influence today, such as the Russian Orthodox Church here, and they have the crosses you can see are a little different than what we have usually in the U.S. From the churches there. They've actually got not the one bar, but they've got two. And the crooked one, I've heard a couple of different things, but supposedly that was one that Jesus could stand on. I don't know if that's true. So if somebody listening to this later, if you know, then drop that down in the comments section because I would really like to know. And then in their cemetery, they have these houses set up, and these houses are over the graves in the cemetery to help protect the graves. So, you know, it's the whole stop there at St. Nicholas Orthodox Greek Church. And one of the other things that I like about it is the sign is written in Athabascan, which in this part of Alaska, that's the native language. And it's also written in English. So yeah, for me, that kind of stuff is why I like to travel, just because it's fascinating. And there's a better picture of the sign. So little rabbit trail to go down to. Epic Man is here. Hi, Epic Man. So welcome. Okay, so Busy Lady's going to go take ibuprofen and go on a small hike. Walk it off. That'll do it. So Epic Man, hi and welcome. So, okay, so that was about the purchase of Alaska and some of the culture. And so it was purchased in, like I said, 1867. Now, another woman This is about the mountain named Denali, and it can get kind of confusing sometimes with Alaska because they have Denali National Park, which is like 6 million acres, and it's one of the largest in the national park system. And they also have you have Denali Mountain, you have Denali National Park, and then you have Denali Village. So, and then you have like Denali State Park. And so they're kind of all right there together. So, but it can be a little confusing for people who are not used to it and hearing it for the first time. So, I've got a question about Denali, and in this case, it's the mountain, and that used to be known. Some of you may know it as Mount McKinley. So, this question is, at 20,320 feet, Denali is the tallest peak in North America. True or false? At 20,320 feet, Denali is the tallest peak in North America. So, and Denali being having the Native American name, meaning the Great One. That's a good idea, Busy, to do it tomorrow. So, Denali, and it is not Denali. It is Denali if you're talking about it in Alaska. You don't pronounce it like the truck. So, true or false? True. True. Peter says true. Stellar says false. Candy says true. Busy says she's clueless. It is the tallest peak in North America. Denali is. So, and another thing that's really cool about Denali is that it makes its own weather patterns. So sometimes you can see it from a distance, and sometimes you cannot. So like you can see it for hundreds of miles, and sometimes you can get even right up next to it within 20 or 30 miles and can't see it at all. And that's just because of the way it does the weather. So the clouds can just be so tall that they really obscure it, but light enough that you can see like the bottom half of the mountain sometimes. It's crazy. Like I can't even explain it. But some people will go several times to Alaska without ever actually being able to see the mountain. And I'm looking for a photo here to see if I can pull it up. I see a bunch of photos from Denali National Park, but I don't know. Maybe I can. Yep. Nope. I don't see it. But I will share with you a photo that Miss Stellar Piper took one day that I am still completely jealous of. Completely. And when you all see it, you will be too. Here we go. Can you believe she took that photo? That is, in case, I might have a better copy of it. Yep. That's a mama bear and her cub, specifically a mama grizzly and her cub. They were out, we did a tour, and mama and baby were out playing around. Sad story, mama bears usually have two cubs. Well, mama bear on this for this reason, only has one cub that she's playing with. So she's having to take over part of the duty of not just raising the cub, but socializing the cub because something happened to the other baby. So that's kind of a sad thing. But that's part of the realities of life there in Denali National Park and for wildlife in general. But I've been pretty jealous of her taking that photo, not going to lie. Is anybody else jealous of her? Oh, Candy, thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Thank you. That's going to Doggy when we get it. And we're getting closer. We are now over halfway. So we're getting there. And just to show you real quick, these are photos taken in the national park. That was our bus driver. And this is called Wonder Lake. And if you ever go to Alaska, take a mosquito net and mosquito spray, especially if you go around here. Because one of the jokes is that the state bird of Alaska is the mosquito. I'm not sure exactly how much of a joke that is because there's a fair amount of truth to it. So it's crazy. So thank you, Busy. Thank you. I totally forgot that. Thank you. And Candy, I really appreciate that because it all moves me closer. And so that's awesome. And Busy says she hates those things. Yeah, mosquitoes are not my most fun thing. But okay, on to something a little more fun. How many active volcanoes does Alaska have? Would you say, I'm going to give you some ranges here, so don't panic. How many active volcanoes does Alaska have? None, 20, or 70? So, how many active volcanoes? None. Or, yep. Busy lady hit it right. She says 70. Now, did you guess or did you have to go phone an Alexa or phone a Siri? Kenny says 93. Nope. Active ones are 70. And that's according to their state website. So, and somewhere over on Facebook, I have a picture that I took of a volcano there. It's one that you can see from Homer, but yeah, she just thought it was a lot. You're right. You're right. And then they have some that are dormant, but these are active ones, which means that there's, some kind of activity going on frequently. And that causes earthquakes. And Alaska was actually the site of, I think, the largest earthquake in North America in recorded history. And that was called the Good Friday earthquake. And it decimated much of the coast from Seward on the Kenai Peninsula on up north of Anchorage. So we're talking about hundreds of miles there. And it made the water rushed inland, seawater rushed inland, and actually petrified some of the trees that even today are still there in their petrified form. You can see them on the water in a couple of places. So, yeah. She cheated and Googled it. No, she said she guessed. So this time she got it without electronic assistance. That's so cool. Okay, True or false? Alaska is home to the largest remaining gray wolf populations. True or false? Largest remaining wolf populations. Y'all could probably guess that one pretty easy. That's why I put it in. Candy says Alexa told her wrong, and she's got to throw it against the wall that no one lies to Candy. There you go. So, and Peter would be right. It is true. So good for Peter. And Epic Man is saying false. No, it's true. It's one of the largest. I'm sorry, it's the largest. Another one, true or false? Alaska is the home to the largest fishing industry in the U.S. True or false? The largest fishing industry in the U.S. True or false? Let's see. Cheater Griffin, Cheater Peter. Let's not call anybody names now. Come on. Candy said true. Okay. It is true. Alaska has the largest fishing industry in the U.S. So, yeah. And part of that is highlighted in the movie, not movie, what am I? In the television show, Deadliest Catch. Part of that is highlighted there. So, interesting show there. And I actually, fun fact, I actually got to talk with someone who worked over on the at the port. Now I can't think of the port's name. Oh, anyway, yeah, it's Unalaska, Deadliest Catch port. I can't believe I just drew a blank on it. But anyway, that show, and it's pretty cool. And of course, they're known for catching crab, but salmon, pollock, you know, lots of any kind of Dutch Harbor. Thank you, Stellar. Thank you. I got to talk to one of the fishermen from Dutch Harbor. Lots of really interesting stories. Fascinating place. It is one of the most diverse ports in the country, in the world, and certainly the most diverse in the country. So anyway, and so speaking of busy places, Candy's calling Alexa names. No. I'm glad she didn't understand your request. Poor Alexa. Aw. So, okay. The airport, you know, we just saw the photo of it a few minutes ago, and we talked about it. So the airport in Alaska, Ted Stevens International Airport, is the busiest airport in the world. Is that true or false? The busiest airport in the world. That's no, I don't cheat. There you go. And Stellar's like, one of my coworkers trying to stop playing music. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about who started it, but you all go to your respective corners. False. No, you did not say false. Yes, you did. And I'm giving it away. Yes. It is the busiest airport in the world. Because of its location, lots of airplanes come in and use it as a refueling stop. So, especially if they're coming from the east into the west. And interesting thing, because of the way the line falls, Alaska is actually in the eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere. And so planes that are coming or going use Ted Stevens as a fueling stop. So even though people may not get off the plane, it still makes it one of the busiest airport in the world. So you missed the name of the airport. That's okay. You know, we were talking about Alaska, so we'll give you a break there. Okay. And the next one. Y'all are going to get this one. I just know it. The easy one. What is the name of the dog sled race that is like the most known dog sled race in Alaska that they have? It happens every March. And what might it be? Candy's giving Alexa another chance. Okay, Alexa. What might it be? Don't say Yukon Quest, because that's not in the U.S. The Iditarod is the win. Yes, you got it. The Iditarod. No, I'm not going to say that. Not going to say that. The Togo Memorial Race. All right, but you want to bring up Togo? We'll talk Togo. Togo, going back in the day, talking about the Serum Run, also known as the Great Race of Mercy. Some people call it the Iditarod, but call it the original Iditarod, but it really wasn't. But the Great Race of Mercy, the Serum Run, there was a dog that ran the hardest, fastest, most arduous part of the journey and has not gotten any kind of recognition until recently. They did a movie, I guess about a year ago. And it's Togo. And Togo was the sled dog. Leonard Seppala was the owner. And Balto, which is probably the dog that people are most familiar with, courtesy of Walt Disney. Balto is the sled dog that got a lot of credit because he's the one that actually got it in across the, I don't want to say across the finish line, but he's actually the one that got it into Nome. And he only did like the last 2 legs. But interesting is that Balto and Togo were out of the same litter. So the same person owned both of them. And, oh, see you, Mel Mel. Have to make moves and head home. Okay, thanks for coming in, Mel Mel. Thank you. So it's a fascinating story. I encourage you all to look at it. Togo is actually stuffed and mounted in the Iditarod Museum up in Alaska. So if you ever get a chance to go check them out. I'm going to do a screen share here. But he ran in whiteout conditions in like -50 with huge wind chills. I mean, it's amazing. And so, okay, over in the Iditarod museum here, they've got a sample sled dog team set up in bronze with the names of some of the dogs on it. And then over here somewhere, there we go. There's Togo, the stuffed and mounted Togo. And he was a dog that just really wouldn't take no for an answer. And Leonard Seppala, that owned him, tried rehoming him a few times, and Togo broke loose and ran all the way back home, no matter how far away he rehomed him. So I guess he tried rehoming him a couple of times, and it didn't work. So he finally went ahead and kept the dog and the dog was a little bit of an escape artist, and he would go run the other dogs. Togo would want to escape out and go run. And finally, Leonard Seppala was like, okay, if you want to run, I'm just going to put you on as part of the team, and we'll just see how far you go. And then he worked his way up from the back of the pack on up to the lead dog. And he was actually like 5 years old, I think it was, when he ran the Iditarod, which is when some dogs are actually close to retirement, but not this one. I mean, some service dogs are actually close to retirement at that point, but Togo wasn't. He was still raring to go. So interesting. At least I hope it's interesting. I think it is. Moose pie and cow pie, they both taste the same on the cow pie. I like sugar and ice cream on it. Okay. I'm not even going to. Frozen yogurt. Okay, I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. No. So, our next question is, was Alaska, at what state position did Alaska join the Union? Is Alaska the 48th state, 49th, or 50th? Which one? 48, 49, or 50? Which do you think? Which might it be? 50th is wrong. I need a buzzer. It was a good guess, though. Hawaii is actually the 50th state. So you're close. So that leaves 48 or 49. Nope, it's not 50th. It's the 49th. Alaska is the 49th state. But good guesses, though. That's 49. And one more question is, what year did Japan invade Alaska? So yes, Epic Man, Stellar Piper, P. Parker, all y'all guessed right on 49. So good for y'all. So now, what year did Japan invade Alaska? Because, you know, they invaded and actually took over part of the Aleutian Islands and occupied part of the U.S. So, Candy should have asked Alexa. Nope. Nope, not supposed to. So your choices for what year did Japan invade Alaska is 1920, 1942, or 1950. Failed history. Teachers made us watch movies every day. Now you're going to wish you paid attention. About to ask for Google Assist. Okay. Before you do that, let me know. 1942. Candy got it right. There you go. In 1942, Japan invaded. They actually took over part of the Aleutian Islands, and our troops had to go in and expel them from the islands. And so if you all are not familiar with that, look it up, because it's just part of our country's history, and sometimes we forget because it kind of gets glossed over. So, but there's actually the battle for, I think it's Ada. I think that one of the Aleutian Islands that they battled for, where they had to expel the troops, and Japan wound up losing like almost 2,500 troops. It was bad. You'll let her son know. Okay. Whoops. Man says, I'll see. Busy says she'll let her son know. So there you go. You do that. Tell them, pay attention. And here's a photo that I was going to share with you all a minute ago and couldn't find. I do have it over on Facebook. And that's the photo of Denali. And you can see what I mean about Denali is you can see the top peak of the mountain and the clouds coming in. And so it's actually forming those clouds, which is kind of cool. And I only had literally like a 10-minute window that those clouds opened up and I could get that shot of Denali. We were there probably around an hour, just kind of hanging around. We were picking blueberries at the national park and stuff and had been hanging out. And then the clouds moved and I was trying to tell the person I was with that Denali was right over there. And she was like, where? I don't see it. I don't see it. And then the clouds parted. And you can just barely see underneath that like very top layer of clouds. You can see just like the hint of part of the mountain. And so it's that cloud cover that comes in that causes you not to see it. And then it's sometimes the whole thing is so pale because it's white. And if the sky is really pale and you've got the pale mountain, sometimes you can't see it for that reason too. So wild. Okay, and let's see. Katie says, oh, okay, she says she knew that because her husband was 2 years old and brother-in-law was sent up there to help. So total of 66 books by 40 authors. I know that there's like tons of authors. I can never remember how many books, because then you get into like, are we counting Apocrypha? Are we not? Are we talking what all are we talking about there? So yeah. Lipstick and Sofrito. Hey. Hey. How are you? I hope you're having a good night. So everybody, welcome. And y'all that's just joined us, please do give me a like, thumbs up on the video, on the live stream. So, and Stellar says, all right, dinner's done, so I'm going to go eat. Okay. Good night, Stellar. Good night. And I do have a bonus question, but we're not taking score tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mention the bonus question. And that is, Alaska is home to several different types of bears. And that's grizzly bears, brown bears, black bears, and polar bears. And so those of us who don't live in Alaska are not necessarily familiar with anything except like the bears like this guy, which is the grizzly bear, or the ones that were in the photo there that Stellar Piper took. But there's actually brown bears, and the brown bears are a little different from the grizzlies in that they're more toward the coast. And although they look about the same, they're not. They're toward the coast, and they have a different diet of largely fish and plants, whereas if you go a little more inland, the diet mostly consists of critters and some plants. So there's the two differences in the brown bears and the grizzly bears. And I was driving through the Alaska Highway, leaving Alaska, going to Canada, and we saw this guy just calmly walking down the road. So, yeah, interesting stuff when you start traveling. So, I forgot that. I could have mentioned yoga. So anyway, that concludes our Alaska trivia. I hope you all have enjoyed it. Do give me a thumbs up. Lipstick and Sofrito, it's good to see you. And let's see, now my comments have stuck. That's crazy. That's neat to know. Okay, there we go. It got unstuck. Yeah, I thought I mentioned it because we hear a lot about black bears and we hear a lot about grizzlies and polars, but the brown bears kind of get glossed over. But I was talking to a guy that hunts in Alaska last time I was up there, and he said that he gets the most nervous around the brown bears, and he actually thinks that they're deadlier than the grizzlies. So, you know, you never know. And oh, Candy, thank you very, very much for that super sticker. You are so nice. Thank you. Because that helps. And so, of course, Google takes their cut, which is like 30%, 40%. I forget. I think it's 30. And everything else on all the super chats goes straight towards service dog. And I'm going to post some totals over in the Facebook group later on, probably tomorrow. But we are just a tad over the halfway point. So, like, I'm so excited. We're getting closer. And it's getting close. We still got a long way to go, but I'm excited because, like I said, we're always getting closer. So, Candy, thank you. I appreciate that. It's at just for the dog. I needed 5K. And so I'm like literally just a little over. I'm thinking around the 2,600 mark now. So I have the rest of that for the dog. So I guess around, I don't math well. So whatever around 2,600 is from the 5K. And then I'm trying to raise next. I'm going to try to raise money to go toward some of the last minute expenses that I have to get for the dog, and then some travel help. But the last minute expenses for the dog are things like a crate and some special stuff that the dog has to have, and a bed and things like that. And I can't buy those ahead of time because I don't know what size dog I'm going to be getting. So I don't want to get a crate that's too big or too small. So there's 3 breeds that we're really looking at closely, and that would be either the Bernese Mountain Dog, which is a huge dog, or a Golden Retriever, or a Lab. So those are, you know, the 3 breeds, and they're all different sizes. And thank you, Busy Lady. I appreciate that. Y'all, this helps so much. Everything helps me get there, and I super, super, super appreciate it. So thank you, Busy. Thank you again, Candy. You know, y'all are awesome. Thank you. So the whole total is like 7,500, 7,800. But I know that's going to go up because that includes the travel expenses, and gas is not going down, you know. So it's going to go up a little bit, but obviously my husband and I are going to pay some of the travel expenses out of pocket. It's just that I have to spend either 1 week or 2 weeks in Kansas, and I won't know that until a lot closer to time. So Tanya, she got her service dog from the same agency, from Cares, and so she says that a week, but Cares says either 1 or 2 weeks. So I'm hoping for the 1, since, you know, I've owned a service dog before, or been owned by a service dog, I like to say. So yeah, but thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Candy. Thank you all. Thank you for hanging out. Don't forget to hit like, because it does help me out. So thank you all. Y'all have a great evening. And let's see. Could you take out a small loan when you're almost there to get one sooner? You know, that is something we've talked about. But then I have to pay interest on the loan. But it may be something that we have to do. They said originally that there's a 2-year wait on the service dog. And part of that is just because the dog, you know, from the time of birth to training and everything, that takes a good solid minimum of 1 year most breeds have to go 18 months. So, and then there's a little backlog in the system. And then we had COVID, and COVID put a backlog in the system. And that's because you have to be able to take the dogs in public to train them. And when things are shut down, you can't take the service dogs out to train them. So COVID has contributed to that backlog because people who were already in the pipeline needing service dogs got back down because they couldn't go out places and train the service dogs. So yeah, hopefully if I get them paid off sooner or get closer to that mark, hopefully, you know, that'll help, but nobody knows, like with COVID. So anyway, so anyhow, thank you all again, and y'all go out, have a great weekend. Peter, I have got I think it's a premiere lined up for tomorrow night, so I'll be on, but I won't be like live like this. So, but I'm getting back into that. I had a bunch of problems, dental and stuff, so I'm getting back into the swing of things with that. So y'all take care. Always, always, always hashtag be bodacious. Don't let life get in the way of living. And I'll see you some videos this week and then on Saturday. So y'all